Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the class of African literature. So previously what we discussed was about the textual analysis. It was basically the textual analysis of things fall apart, and we have completed our course. So today I'm going to talk about in general like the themes in what are the themes in African literature. In the beginning I already discussed those themes, but they were not in quite laboratory. So before I move on to the themes, first of all, it is necessary to have an idea about what constitutes the African literature. So African literature comes from West Africa, East Africa, South Africa and its suburbs, Rhodesia. So these literatures are quite naturally like different from each other, but they have an in common the fact that they are written by young and middle-aged authors, most of them born after 1930. So African literature means different things to different people. Some consider it as word literature, new word literature, a new genre with new messages. Others regard it as a political document characterized by the protest against colonialisms, downgrading of the blacks. So for some it is simply like an appendage to English and French literature. However, African literature is didactic and instructive, so it is a documentary literature. African writers who wrote who wrote in English, they were often accused of addressing themselves to a Western audience, and to some extent they were engaged in a debate with the West about the Western interpretations of Africa, and in a sense they were directing a messages they were directing a message both at the colonizer and the colonized. So they were trying to reform African ideas about African experience, but they were also trying to reform European ideas about the African experience by using the colonizer's language to express this idea. So this happened during the Negritude movement, in Africa, in movement in Africa, Francophone Africa, which was an attempt also to place positive value on African culture and to make Europeans aware that Africa has a culture, and they have local traditions, that Africa was capable of a high quality literature. So often based on some premises as the Europeans were using, it was addressed to Africans themselves, who through reading their literature could change their own minds about the experience they have been through. And today most of the African writing is addressed to a local audience. So the experience of certain areas of Africa, Africa of the colonialism, have been very different from the others. So in certain rural areas, the consciousness of being dominated by an alien culture was minimal. Their existence went on regardless of who were on their soil. So in that way, parts of Africa never really felt the impact of colonization, like the people along the coastline or in the metropolitan cities. So however, the impact of colonialism was more severe in African countries than in other Commonwealth countries. So most of the African writers the Chinua Achebe, Soyinka, and there are other, the Gabriel Okra and Kemal, there are many. So all of them, they have powerfully represented the impact of colonialism and neo-colonialism to the downtrodden masses of their country in their works. So most African literature is an expression of its country's social change. The writers are concerned about the past and the present history of their country, and this concern is reflected in their works. So the social change that Africa had been subjected to since the colonization of the country, the cultural, political, and missionary influences, and its present state of achieved independence with a growing awareness of both national identity and modern problems. So, what are the themes of the African culture? Are the very first theme is the colonialism, then comes liberation, then nationalism, tradition, displacement, and rootlessness. So these are all the themes that are highly rooted in the African literature, and you can find these themes in every African literature, almost every African work. Like we have read the Chinua Achebe's work. These themes are present in that work also. They are also somehow present in Walsoenka's work, and they are also present in Ben Okri's work. So moving on to the first one is the colonialism. For example, like I was saying, the Achebe's Things Fall Apart. It is a worthy archetype of the novel, which shows the tragic consequences of Africa's encounter with Europe. So the village Umofia is a representative of traditional Igbo society. A similarity can be drawn between the changes in the protagonist Okonko's life and the social change that Nigeria underwent before and after its encountered with European culture. So, having examined the strains and the stresses in Igbo society in the wake of colonialist advance in Things Fall Apart, and another work is The Era of God, and problems facing the educated classes in modern Nigeria. Achebe shows that Nigerians made of their country consequent to the departure of the imperialist, and the English patient too deals with them of colonial presence. So liberation, before talking about liberation, I will tell something about colonialism. So like in Things Fall Apart, that in that work we have seen the impact, what was the condition before the colonialism, then what was the period of colonialism, and what were its consequences. So now comes the liberation. It is basically the struggle for liberation. Liberation in literature challenges people, community, and the continent to identify the positive elements in their heritage and inspires them to find solution to their problems. So along with the Yoruba culture, Walsoenka also advocates the theme of liberation in his works, and he says that the second phase of the self-liberation is the creation of the continental language as an instrument of continuing continental struggle. There is a Kenyan writer, Ogiwa Deong, regarded the revision of Kenyan history as essential to liberation. Essential to liberation from colonial legacy. So, in his novel The Petals of Blood, he explains through the character of Karaga and Joseph that the spirit of liberation is a continuous process, which is indicative of the social consciousness of the people. And similarly, there is another writer, Aikwe Arma's novel. Apart from their static beauty, they are deliberately crafted as tools of resistance and liberation. If there was a struggle for liberation, obviously there was resistance. So his two novels, Arma's two novels, The 2000 Seasons and The Healers, they are regarded as novels of liberation. So both these works are revolutionary in their perspective. So in these novels, Africa, it becomes the plot, character, theme, and the situation. And Arma's novelistic vision is to emancipate the continent from the forces of slavery, colonialism, and neocolonialism. So the works, they provide us, African works, they provide a survey of the history of Africa from the past to the future. So it chronicles the life of the African people that confronted with the cultural, religious, economic, and social enslavement. So it calls for a struggle for their liberation, and the work not only is a fight not only to rehabilitate like Africa's battered image, or re-established or retain Africa's shattered image, but also to liberate it from slavery, disintegration, distortion, and dislocation of its unique African cultural identity. Africa's Achebe's the next theme is identity crisis. If let's say if you move to somewhere else, and they have different culture traditions, like all the lifestyle is totally different. So what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to to continue with your own lifestyle like you had previously in the previous place, in the last place, or to follow the, or to try to adapt the, or to try to change yourself with the present scenario? So whenever you try to change yourself according to the situation, there comes the crisis, and you certainly forget that what to become actually. So you become hybrid. For example, our language is hybrid. We speak English, we mix through languages like Punjabi, Urdu, and English. So that is the reason, because we are from the colonized people. So our language is hybrid, our culture is hybrid, because before partition, as everyone was staying in the subcontinent. So because of these things, now the customs, many of the customs are that doesn't even exist in the Muslim history. So we just adopted those customs from the Hindus. So whenever there is the amalgamation of cultures, religion, there comes always the identity crisis. Achebe's work Arrow of God is a study of an African man struggling to come to terms with his identity when a nationalizing colonial force undermines the structure of his community and destroys his sense of security. So the novel shows that two issues central to the protagonist's identity crisis remain a problem to the Nigerians today. If Nigeria is a nation, are the Iba and the Yoruba just tribes? Like, if African writers warn that until the people of Africa understand their pre-colonial foundations and restructure their society accordingly, they cannot hope to build nations with harmonious ethnic coexistence. Moreover, the writers are often divided, like over the use of colonial language as national languages. Achebe's Arrow of God is an example of a narrative that probes the post-colonial identity by seeking to identify the moment of transition of a society with a pre-colonial identity to one with a national identity. So Africa is known for its rich tradition, And we have already talked about the traditions in all the three works, and their cultural heritage is quite rich, and you can just make an assumption, or you can just analyze or examine their cultural heritage, the richness of their cultural heritage, by the proverbs or by the words the writers use in their works. So the for example, things fall apart. It shows the tradition, the social harmony of the village is evoked vividly through Achibe's presentation of the customs and traditions, extending from birth through marriage to death, and of the educational, religious, and hierarchical systems. Achebe also takes a stronger satiric stand in A Man of the People, to show how the local traditions and customs are exploited by the modern politicians to meet their selfish needs. So in all the works, they do show such things. For example, another work like the Ogiwa Teong, he tries to uplift the cultural heritage of Africa by explaining the colonial subjugation to the Kenyans, by presenting before every Kenyan what he was, what he is, and where he is being led into. So his novels like The Petals of Blood gives the picture of a traditional Gikuyo society, and the Soenka, they presented Yoruba, and Benokri also presented Yoruba cultures, Yoruba society, and Achebe presented Igbo society. So Ogiwa Deong, he presents Gikuyu society, and how the peaceful life of the Gikuyu was spoiled with the intrusion of the Europeans. So in his novel, the he presents the life of a young man, Waiki, who fails in bringing about reconciliation between traditionalism and Christianity. So this was not the problem of Waiki alone, but it was a social problem actually, which affected many societies and tribes during 1920s. So the social life of the traditional societies, which aimed at a communal consciousness, has been disturbed by the entrance of the European. And Ogiwa Deong seems to suggest that the dilemma of the masses to make a choice between traditionalism and Christianity has resulted in utter confusion. So he suggests that a blend of the good qualities of both traditions and a reconciliation between the two would have been a better choice. So, but the lack of the social awareness among the people had created chaos in the society, which ultimately led to destruction of traditional values. So, Africa is also well known for its oral tradition. There is a Ghana is the also Ghanaian poet है, sorry. The Ghanaian poet Kofi Evoner researched into the poetic forms of the Ev ethnic group, so which resulted in the publication of his the name of the work is The Guardians of the Sacred Wood, Ev Poetry. So a collection containing Evonor's English translations of the oral recitations. A similar thread which links the traditional and the modern is seen in the poetry. So apart from the cultural heritage, the most important theme of in the African works is displacement or diaspora. Diaspora is basically called to the forceful migration of people from their homeland to somewhere else. So when the Africans were forced to move to some other place, and those and the work that was written during that period, that is called the diasporic work, in which such kind of forceful migration is being represented. And displacement is the same thing, that when you are when you are forced to move to somewhere else, and to leave your place or home or your land. So place and experience of displacement, they are both important features of African literature. It originated against the background of a complex history of colonization and decolonization. Displacement caused by colonization can take on several forms: a physical displacement, figurative displacement. The figurative displacement is visible in the relationship of black African writers writing to African literary canon, which has been mostly dominated by the white African writing. So the other forms of displacement, they include the displacement brought about by the appropriation of land by European colonizers. So the displacements resulting from the forced removals under certain apartheid laws, as well as the displacement caused by imprisonment or resulting from hostile political policies. So Soyinka's season of Anome is basically about the processes of displacement and elimination and substitution. So where the cultural heritage is important, the struggle for liberation is important, and the theme of colonialism is important. The theme of displacement is as important as the other themes, and it is also related to the theme of identity crisis and the diaspora or displacement. They are somehow linked. So when you are forced to move somewhere else, the place you don't even know, so you just get confused, and you don't even you can't even know or think what to do now. Achebe depicts the post-colonial situation in in modern African state, which is on its way to sever its ties with the traditional past. So Achebe exposes the inadequacies in a society which is losing its traditional moorings, and also the opportunistic tendencies of the local newly emerging politicians. So this causes dislocation from one's native land and results in this sense of rootlessness. Exactly. The diaspora, it leads to the identity crisis, then it leads to the sense of non-belongingness, sense of rootlessness. So sorry, I forgot to mention the theme of rootlessness. So it is also caused by either displacement, exile, or other similar factors. So the juxtaposition of the native tradition with the alien tradition of the colonizers played a significant role in creating a sense of rootlessness, the clash between tradition and modernity, between the real and the occult, are some among them. So as the clash, you have seen the clash between tradition and modernity in Wall Soyinka's The Lion and the Jewel. Then in Achebe's Things Fall Apart. And there is also the theme of rootlessness and exile is present in all the works. A Okonkwo is forced to move to other place, and if you managed to read the thorough biography of all the African writers, many of them they went into voluntary exile. So whenever they thought whenever they are guilty of something, they just send themselves into exile. So the sense of rootlessness, this has been depicted mainly in African poetry, such as the cathedral by by Kofi Warner. So apart from these themes, there are several other themes peculiar to African literature, like apartheid, negritude, assimilation, racism, lack of education, dual identity of the mixed people are some of the them dealt with in the powerful writings of the from the African continent. So negritude, you are quite familiar with the term negritude. It was a movement, and the word negro and this movement started against or in the reaction of the term negro. So apart from these themes, the racism is quite present everywhere, not as strong as it was in the early ages, but it is still present. The recent event of I just forgot the name of the black man who was killed by cops. There are many. I happened to read a survey or an article in which a person mentioned deaths of black people by the hands of white cops every year. So racism is still present, and it is just deep rooted. So however, every African writer is two people. How two people? Like, he is born to a worldwide which is mythopoeic, ritualistic, hierarchical, authoritarian, folk oriented, oral and tribal. So by a historical accident, he has become aware of a culture that is rational, actuality oriented, techno scientific, pragmatics, and endowed with established discourse. So given tradition is past and present relevance, so its just juxtaposition with the alien tradition has to find a place, and this is achieved by the literary geniuses from the African continent, making the Eurocentric world look at them in a new light. So to conclude, we can say that the themes of the African writings, or the writings that originated from the African continent, they were because they wanted the world to get to know them. They just presented a new perspective to Eurocentric people or to Eurocentric world. Eurocentric means Europeans, to be just be indulged in your own word. Like Europeans, they just present themselves as always good, and the other people, they automatically or unknowingly somehow they just happen to marginalize them. So the African writers, they just initiated this thing, or African literature, in order to eliminate that, in order to make the world known that African continent exists, and what kind of people they are, African people, what kind of their culture is, their civilization is before the colonial period, what happened during the colonial period, and what were the after effects of the colonization. So in order to give a new perspective to the people or to worldwide, they just presented these themes. These themes are deeply rooted in African literature. Like you can find these themes in almost every of the African literature. So like for example, the things fall apart. There is they have rich culture. Before the Igbo society, before the colonial period, they were following the particular rules. They had their the court, their laws, law and order, everything was present there. But with the arrival of the missionaries, everything collapsed, as they were trying to impose their own traditions, their own religion onto the African people, and the African people, they were trying to resist. So things just collapsed. There was a chaos. So the reason was because the English people or the Europeans, they just didn't manage to, or they just didn't realize to just understand the traditions or culture or the people or the place of the Africa. Instead, they just considered them, they just judged them on the basis of their color, their creed, and their appearance. They were judged by those things, and they were titled as savages, barbaric. So so in order to remove that tag, African writers, they just put these themes into their writings. So that is all for now, and I have put references from where I have collected this data, or the themes of that are commonly present in African literature. So thank you for your patience. Stay blessed.